questions, feel free to use the chat. Hopefully you can use that and it's not disabled. If not, use the Q&A if that's your preferred method. So this really, we try and do these maybe every quarter or so to share with members in particular how you can make the most of your membership to the Office Management platform, with a little bit of history as to how and why it was created. So for those of you who are brand new to the Office Management portal and the group as a whole, welcome. It's wonderful to have you here. For anybody that is relatively kind of used to it and has seen our stuff for a while, you probably know why we created it or very much what we're about. But ultimately, in a very short, succinct version, I spent most of my career in office management and executive assistant and assistant positions, mostly office and facilities management. And I recognised that there wasn't a space for office managers. There were lots and lots of platforms for assistants and lots of networking events and, you know, magazines coming through for subscriptions for assistant-based things. But there was nothing and no real specific training or support out there for people in office management roles. But I also knew, having been one for a long time, the importance of these positions and how isolated they can feel when you're in them because you're generally the only person in that company doing that job. And how little formal training there is because of the magnitude and the depth and breadth of responsibilities that you're given in these roles. So I created my consultancy-based business, which was originally called Black and White Office Consultancy, which is why you see a lot of black and white in everything we do, because they're kind of my two favorite, I know they're dull, but my two favorite color combinations. I've launched more clothing into my wardrobe now, but if you know any of my when you ever meet any of my friends or family, they will tell you that I lived in black and white as a youngster. And yeah, and then the consultancy-based business basically inspired me to create the Office Management portal some way into it. So that was launched in 2016, and we went live with the Office Management portal in 2018, after carrying out research in 2017 that showed that there was a lack of space and support for the office management profession, and there was a demand for it across the UK. So I invested my own money to build the platform, and we held a launch event in October 2017. So we're celebrating our 5th year of the portal in January, which is really exciting. So look out for anybody who is or can get to London, because we're going to have a party next year. But yeah, it was ultimately with the aim of providing support, resources and contacts to office managers so that it takes the isolation out of your role, and you've got this network of people who are in similar professions and perhaps in different sectors there to support you, and there to you know, as a platform to moan to if you want to, because you've had a crap day, or to give advice because you've never approached something before, as well as this black book of contacts that I have known for most of my career. And a lot of the partners that you'll see in the directory I know very well because I have been their client over the years, or they've come recommended to me through other clients over the years. And then the templates was just a no-brainer, because I've had so many clients over the years say to me, hey, instead of you writing this health and safety policy for us, can you give us a template and a framework so that we can write it ourselves and we can learn from you as to how to write a best practice policy, or, you know, put a process in place, whatever it might be. So all of the inspiration, in short, from everything that I do is from living, breathing and seeing it every day, and from people giving me the idea because they're asking me for support in different ways. They're asking me for recommendations and things. So ultimately, the portal was originally meant to save me time and give my clients and contacts access to my brain and my book of contacts, essentially. And it's just kind of become its own machine of support and connection and way of connecting people who are in this profession. So the portal is going to go through some development next year, which is really exciting. But for now, it is as we see it on my screen, and hopefully you can all see that okay. If you can't, please do let me know. There are 6 main sections to it. The tips and advice section is actually the most popular section. It's the most clicked on section in the portal altogether. And this is really meant to be short, sharp tips. So if you're ever, you know, undertaking a project, or there's something a little bit quirky that you're like, I wonder how I should do this, or I wonder what this is, or what it means, or how best to, go about it, whatever it might be. And I've got some examples I can show you. This could be a good place to come and search. It's kind of twofold. It acts like a little bit of a news feed. So what's changing? Like, you can see a tip that I added last night, because I've got various streams coming into me from HR resources, health and safety resources, cybersecurity and GDPR, all sorts of things like that. And our expert partners as well send me some of their information and advice. So I put anything that I think is useful for people generically in these roles in here. So this one was about the national and living wage increases that are happening early next year in the UK. But really anything in here that you think, I'm about to embark on an office move, for example. So if I search for moves, how to nail your office move is a tip that I wrote a while ago, and I've updated it recently with just some really quick, short, sharp tips on how you can nail that move. And then if you want to, there's templates, there's a link to the directory, just as a reminder that there are people within our platform that can help you to carry out that move, or to find a new office, or whatever it might be. Toilets, this is one of my favorite tips, is one that we often have to look after. And as I've said to many customers and clients over the years, I have been in male toilets because of my role in office management more times than I care to remember. So if you're with me on that one, then you get what it is to be an office manager. But this is one of the most useful sort of ratio charts that I found when I had to build more toilets, because in one of my old companies, we had bought and merged with another company, and we were closing their office down in Canary Wharf, and they were all coming into our office in the city. So we had, I think, like 60, 70 people incoming, and we already had over 300 staff on our floor. So I had to look at, obviously, complete changes to desk plans and how many we could fit in, and spaces in between desks and all these kind of things, but also how many toilets we needed, because our toilets were ours in the sense that they were demised to us and we had to clean them and maintain them, but they sat on the landlord's property. So we couldn't really build anything else out where they were. So we had to look at our space and look at the stacks and everything like that. It was a bit of a nightmare, to be honest, but making sure that we were complying with the health and safety welfare regulations. Again, in this country, a lot of stuff is specific to the UK law when it comes to health and safety and HR, but other things are quite generic. And yeah, these were the most useful tables that I found that showed, because it's quite a complex one, believe it or not, toilets, how many toilets you need for the different amounts of headcount that you have. Another one of my most useful ones are first aid calculators. So I believe these links are updated again now, because they're going to let me first aid calculators. Here we go. How many? So there was an Ask an Expert recently with David a couple of weeks ago from East Saxon, who is one of our health and safety experts. And the Ask an Experts, just to go off track for a moment, we do monthly. So in terms of the topic of this webinar, making the most of your membership, that is something that is completely free on the free membership. And I recommend, if you haven't already and you can, you join Slack and come to those Ask an Experts, particularly if the topic is something that sits under your remit or your responsibility, or is something that you need to address at some point during the course of the next few weeks, months, and so on. So he talked about first aiders and first aid risk assessments, and up came a couple of times, how many first aiders, how many fire marshals do we need? And again, these calculators have been around for a number of years. I found them some time ago. So I've shared this tip and this information to say, this is, roughly what you need to consider. You should do a risk assessment and so on, but also here's some calculators that take you off to St John's Ambulance, and you put some information in and they will regurgitate how many they recommend you have, which is really useful. So if you haven't done it and you've got certain things, this is kind of the first stop of go-to short, sharp tips, advice, news updates. Whenever we add new things in the portal, if you haven't taken the toggle off, which you have the option to do, you will get an alert up here showing, a new topic's been raised, someone's replied to your topic. I can't see it because I'm the one that mostly adds new tips and things, but whenever new tips are added, you'll see a light bulb. Whenever new templates are added, you'll see a template and events and so on. So you can mark them all as read, or you can click onto the specific one and it will go there. In your account section, you can actually click to edit your details, and then you'll be able to toggle which notifications you want to have. The same with the email alerts for the forum topic notifications. If you don't want them on, you can turn all of that off in your account section here. And yeah, as I say, choose what you get alerts on when you log in. So if you only want to see alerts for new topics and new tips or new templates, you can toggle those on and off accordingly. So back to the main sort of 6 areas. So this is the partner directory, which I know a lot of people do use. And at the same time, a lot of people come into the forum and Slack and things. My advice is to come here first and foremost and do a search. You can either click to see all the categories, and this is one of the main areas we're going to clean up next year, because we have grown so much in terms of our partnerships that it's got a little bit busy in here. So have a look through here first. But also search in here, or maybe just by default search in here. So if I do cleaning as the example in London, it will bring up anybody who's got cleaning as a keyword. So these are our cleaning companies: Wins, Crystal and Bespoke. And then Image Direct actually sell cleaning products and materials, so that's why they've appeared as a keyword. So it's really quite useful if you are looking for people that you want to use. As I said, most of them, as an example right here, right now, I've been a client of Crystal and I've been a client of Wins, and that's how long I've known both of those companies for. And Tobias from Bespoke, I've known for about a year or so, if not a bit longer. So we get to know our partners really well. We take in feedback from our members, yeah, and we vet them quite seriously. So they should be good. Yeah, so you can click on here as well. So if I, for example, go for air conditioning, which is something we all have a lovely relationship with in our offices, you can see that Active, Workplace Solutions, Radiance and SSL or Centaur are our 3 suppliers for air conditioning services and support and maintenance and things. And you can click on their website from here. You can use our contact form, which they will get a copy of. You can email them directly, call them, or if they have an added one, download their brochure for more information. So I really strongly recommend going in there. If, of course, you want more support or advice or recommendations, then you can come into the forum, particularly if you can't find it in here. But most of the time we have a lot of the gaps filled for the suppliers in here. Then the forum, I think, is the most interactive area and the one that most people default to, because it's the one that gives you the email alert saying, hey, there's a new topic. I think one was raised today about Winter Wonderland tickets that someone's giving away for free. So you're welcome at any time, of course, to raise a topic, to, reply to topics, to give advice, to give recommendations and support and things. Again, this is potentially a really good area. Most of the areas within the portal have search functionality. So if you click in here, I don't know, again, let's do an office move. You should be able to see all the different things that have come up on office moves over the years. So you might be looking for advice or, whatever it might be. And actually it might already exist in here that you can then go to, and you are still then welcome to respond to this topic. What that will do is it will push the topic that's most recently been interacted with to the top of the list in the forum. So if you did respond to that move topic, for example, it would pop it up here. And anybody that has this box ticked here will get an email alert each time there is a new reply to that thread in that particular topic, if that makes sense. So if I respond to this now, whoever else has got this ticked will get an email saying there's a new response in office move viability costs within the portal. Do you want to log in and have a look? So that's a really nice way. If this topic is of interest for you, then you can tick it and keep an eye on that. It might be because you're doing the same thing, or because you're just interested to learn, or whatever it might be. Sorry, my dog is patting around me, making a lot of noise, in case you can hear her. So yes, the forum is a really good place, and this is part of the network as well that we have built through the portal, where you can connect with each other. Then the templates. So this is part of the paid feature of the portal. So everything that I've shown you so far is free. When you're on the free version, you have access to all of these, and you can download them on a pay-as-you-want basis. So I don't know, office inventory list. So this, you can see a little preview of it here, but this is basically if you're moving offices, or even if you're not, and you just want to get an inventory of all your furniture and how many you've got and things. It might be a little bit like an asset tracker. Then you can go in here and you can buy this. And if I just edit it, you can see that one's £20 to buy as a one-off. And then obviously if you upgrade your account to what we call the premium membership version, it's either £25 a month or £250 a year. We do have a lifetime one as well, which will be going next year. You can get unlimited access to as many templates as you want included in that. So it really just depends on what you're looking for. Some members just buy maybe 1 or 2 a month and they're quite happy with that. Most tend to upgrade and stay upgraded for some time because maybe they've got a big project on, or, you know, they just want to keep in touch with the templates. We add 2 new templates a month minimum. Sometimes we add a lot more. It depends on how much time I've got and what the demand is for templates. So yeah, so if I just show you as an example, this Office Move one, this is, hopefully it'll come on the right screen. Just going to move my emails over here. This is one of my favorite templates for anybody that's undertaking an office move, particularly if you've never done one before and you're not really sure where to start. This is a list of everything. And to give you an idea, I've probably done about 200, 250 moves in my career. It's what you get when you work at JP Morgan and RBS. And I've probably moved in excess of something like 5,000-6,000 people within that. I don't know, it's something crazy. So quite well versed in doing office moves from scratch, or, you know, halfway through, or whatever state it might be in. And this one is split by phases. So if, for example, it's the move phase, which we look at as the kind of crates, heavy lifting and shifting phase, these are all the things that need to be considered for then. And you can literally edit them, delete them, start assigning them to Hannah or whoever it might be. With a lot of these Excel sheets in particular, you'll notice we have done conditional formatting in them. So that means that we've set like a high, medium, low priority here. So if I change this to high, the color will change. If I set it to medium, etc. So we've set a lot of the templates up like that. And the same with the status here. You can change it to in progress, outstanding. And there should be a little key somewhere off to the right. But then what we have with a lot of these sheets is an admin tab or something like that, where you can then put, you know, Hannah Gray in here, and then I will appear in this drop down list of assigned to. So you can edit. So we've really made it so that you can just go with it and take stuff out that's not relevant, edit stuff that is, and maybe add in things that perhaps we couldn't predict, you know, for every person's office around the world. But the idea is to really just give you that really, really good start, save you time to certain projects and pieces of work, such as an office move. One of my other favorite templates, which I think is really useful, given a lot of us are responsible for health and safety in our businesses. Again, this is sort of geared towards the UK legislation, is this gap analysis. I will just say, actually, with all of our templates, you get this blurb here where we're either teaching you how to use the template or teaching you or sharing why the template exists. So education is really important for me, and sharing on knowledge and experience and learning opportunities as part of this platform. So for you to have a quick read of that beforehand, it may give you some information as to how to use the template or why we've put it in place. Some of them, like, I don't know, an email, we don't really put a lot there because it's pretty obvious what the email's for. So some of them it's not quite as lengthy. But this one is a gap analysis. So I do this for my clients on a one-to-one basis and charge about £700 for a 3-hour consultancy, where I go through health and safety in their office and what they should have in place versus what they've got, and give them advice around it. And then they get a copy of the report afterwards. You can have it under the premium membership, or I think it's about £50-60 for this template. And you can go through it yourself. And we have put in all the different bits of requirements in terms of health and safety. Some of them are just recommendations or best practice, what the detail is and what the recommendation is, and strictly speaking, whether it's a hard and fast legal requirement or not. And again, we've got our lovely conditional formatting in here. So in progress is maybe, you know, I'm somewhere between the two, I need to do more. No, I've not got this in place. Or yes, I've got this in place and it's green, it's good. You've also got NA in here, which will just make it blank. And then I can say need to ask, you know, HR or whatever it might be. You know, so you can make it your own. And this is a really good way of learning about health and safety, but also if you ever did have the HSE come knocking on your door saying, hey, you know, someone's reported something, or we're just spot checking, you've got this that is far better than not knowing what you should be doing and saying, oh, I didn't know we had to do that. So it'll give you a basis to work from. And alongside that, we do masterclasses. So when I've searched for the health and safety document, or GAP, as I typed in here, you can see a masterclass has come up. So every month we drop in a new masterclass. Again, this is for our premium members, or you can buy them on a pay as you want. So it might be, yeah, okay, health and safety is mine. This year they've given me a new objective or a new remit. I need to get to grips with it. So I'm going to do the masterclass on here. This is me taking you through that template. It's about a 2-hour long video because it's pretty lengthy. There's over 100 lines in that spreadsheet to go through, but you've got me kind of reeling off advice. Once you've downloaded it, you can save the link and it's yours to come back to, and then you can go through the spreadsheet at the same time. So for what I charge my clients, about £700, you can have for less than £100 and get a similar experience from it. If you want to, then you can always come on Slack or the forum and ask questions, and I will always be on tap to kind of help with those as well. So there are a couple of my favorite ones. You've got some really unique ones in here that you just won't find anywhere else online or wherever, because I don't think there's many people that have been through this role and have thought this could be useful for someone else and therefore put it online. You know, you'll find a lot of the health and safety policies and things like that online, maybe some of the risk assessments, but you won't find things like this, which are M&E services template for tendering, or a managed print service. And you can see just from the preview how detailed they are, and there's quite a few tabs there, and it looks at buying a printer outright versus getting it on a lease, versus cost per copy versus speeds of the printer, so how many pages per minute, ppm as they say in the managed print service world, you're going to get, and then you can make commentary on the different specs and all these different things. So a lot of them are very, very specific and bespoke for each procurement project or for each piece of work that you need to do. So my advice, again, in terms of making the most of your membership, is if you haven't had a chance and you haven't given yourself time to look through those templates, and or you have things coming up like a move, like a procurement project, no matter what size it is, you want to, formalize processes, you want to get up to speed with health and safety, you've been given business continuity or HR, whatever it might be, have a browse through these templates. Some of our premium members I know are basically doing this thing where they set aside about 20 minutes a week and they go through one section at a time. So for example, office moves, and they just quickly read and have a look at each one, and then they download and save them to a, portal templates folder or something, so that they know they're there and they've kind of understood what they've got for as and when they need them, or set it up as like a project. So this week I'm going to download the joiner and lever section to improve my joiner and lever processes. There's all different ways that the people are using it. The key really is to know that they're there, and they're really quite cost effective as well. We've had our templates valued at over £60,000 for a consultant to sit down and write them all for somebody from scratch. So there's a huge amount of value given that you could pay just £250 a year and have access to all of them. And there are over 250 in there now. Webinars, so there's free webinars that we have from some of our experts. Cake Drop did one about celebrating birthdays, business rates, with James from BGL, defining your personal brand. There's all sorts in here. These are free, and again, you can watch them at any time. So there's links within the text here where you can go, and it will take you over to our YouTube channel and you can watch those. And then the member discounts are in here. So every now and then we get discount offers from partners and things like that. So keep an eye out in there for those, and you'll get alerts if you've got them set each time we add new ones. And then the premium masterclasses section, if you want to browse through, that is in here as well. We will get these sections built out next year, so they're separate, but you can see these. So these are all payable or on our premium membership or lifetime membership as well. And you can go through and you can see like perfecting procurement, and I talk through some of the templates there as well. Last couple of sections are the events calendar. So again, trying to really make this a one-stop resource for office managers to come to learn and to connect and to explore. Essentially, the events that we hold are through the office management group are on here, and most of them are in this coral color. So if you ever see those, they're going to be our own events. That might be The one on here should be in here, actually. I don't think it is, which is a faux pas, but there should be one there, which is our webinar today. We've got one Friday with Nick Elston about anxiety. That's a really popular one. All of these are free unless it comes under the masterclass banner, which we do live, and then we put the recording in afterwards. So yeah, you're welcome to pop in. Some of these are, you know, geared at project management, at assistance, at general health and safety, general, you know, well-being. There's all sorts of things, but we basically have a team that scouts events that thinks they'll be useful for office managers, and we add them in here. So keep an eye on those. And then the Jargon Buster, which not many people know about, but when people do, they're like, actually, this is kind of a cool little feature. So again, you're seeing my admin access here, so you can ignore the edit and delete buttons, but you won't see those. But you can search in here for anything, you know, you might think, oh, what did that mean? And I know Google exists, but we have narrowed it down for you a little bit here as to what it actually means in office management terms. You know, there's all sorts in here that you might just want to scroll through and understand what they are, because there is so much jargon in our roles. And then the contact section, so you can get in touch with us at any time. My recommendation, if you can, as I said, is to get onto Slack. There's about 350 members on there, and it's a really nice group where there's quite a bit going on. But also, you know, at any time, raise a topic, email me, call me if you've got any questions. If you've got a specific template that you would like to see and you can't find it, it might exist, and it might just be that you're using a different keyword to find it. But we're there to support you and make sure that you're getting the most from your membership, and of course from the portal and this very unique platform that's out there to support people in office management roles. Hopefully that has given you a nice overview as to what the portal is and how it may be able to help you a little further. Are there any questions at all from anybody, or anything else that you would like to see? No. On YouTube, if you're not following us on the YouTube channel, do have a look at that, because there are some other sessions around the portal where I show quite a few more templates. If the templates are of interest to you and you're not ready to commit just yet, then have a look at that, because that shows you quite a few more previews as to what's available. But again, at any time, if you want to book in a one-to-one 15 minutes or so with me to have a look at them and understand it a little bit more, I'm always around to do that. Thank you so much to everybody for joining. I hope that was useful, and I will see you soon. Bye. Take care. You're welcome.